All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Loyalist. And today we have breaking news for all of Colts Nation and the NFL in general, because, ladies and gentlemen, a move happened from up on high on the Indianapolis Colts that was expected and was not unexpected after yesterday's abysmal performance in Foxborough, where the Indianapolis Colts offense couldn't do jack or squat the entire freaking game. Okay. The Indianapolis Colts have fired Frank Reich. Now, to me, before the game, I was like, I doubt this happens. I doubt this happens in season. After yesterday, when he took over not only his head coaching responsibilities, but the offensive coordinator responsibilities, and then the offense looked worse than it has ever in the history of Indianapolis, in my opinion. This was worse than any game prior to Peyton Manning coming in that I can remember, and I've been watching since they came in from Baltimore, okay? This was bad. All right, yeah. Offensively, it was really, really bad. And then his post-game presser, he just kind of had that look about him, the way he was answering questions and talking. He knew something was on the horizon for him. He probably, had already been told, you ain't got a job no more, homie. So what are your thoughts, Loyalist, about this firing?
Like you said, you went into yesterday, and if you guys remember before the stream, I was like, this game's going to dictate whether I focus on the future or if I focus on the here and now in the season. And unfortunately, this team, and I want to strongly emphasize this team, because I understand Coach Reich getting fired makes sense. I was more of the thinking that this might not happen a little bit later, because, as we said, we needed to still be able to evaluate these players. These players are playing for a job. But yesterday, what was there to evaluate? That your offensive line couldn't give your quarterback any time to do anything. When your quarterback did have the time, he was making poor decisions. And so after seeing yesterday's game, it definitely made it seem more likely that, this might be a midseason thing. And that was the big question. It wasn't if, it was when, as far as I was thinking. And like I said, I felt like Reich was going to stay there just so you could get a better evaluation of the players. But you just can't evaluate, what that product that was out on the field yesterday at all.
No, you are absolutely right. And I'm going to try to evaluate that either later this evening or tomorrow when the all 22 breaks down. I'm going to look at the offense and try to figure out where the problem originates from. I'm going to go step by step in the film, and I'm going to go, okay, so we're going to start with the offensive line and, go step by step into where the problems truly was. This is going to be a massive undertaking for me, and this could be a longer video than normal, but keep an eye on it. Now, we are also going to get into the hiring of the new head coach later on in this video. But first, I still want to discuss the firing of Frank Reich. And in all honesty, is this a stepping stone for possibly something else later on? Because let's face it, walking into this season, we had really high hopes for this team. We had playoff aspirations. We had Super Bowl aspirations. We had so many of these really high-profile veteran players come in. We had the best, we thought, and highest paid offensive line in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We had one of the best running games in the NFL. We went out and got a Super Bowl quarterback, an MVP quarterback. We went out and got all this stuff, and we dropped the biggest egg offensively we have done so, like I said, in forever. Guys, there's over 50 of you in here right now. Please smash that like button so that it'll help with the analytics, get more people in here. We'd appreciate that very, very much. Now, here's the deal. My question at this point, I understand we have a new head coach, Frank Reich, but we don't have an offensive coordinator right now. Frank Reich was the head coach and offensive coordinator. That turned out to be complete and utter shit yesterday. We've seen that, okay? But where do we go from here, right? We got to talk about it. Was it all on Frank Reich? No, I don't think this was all on Frank Reich. All right, first off, I talked about the trade deadline. I talked about, hey, Ballard, I understand you wanted to, do good by Naheem Hines, and he wanted out because he wasn't getting enough snaps, as opposed, in targets and stuff, as opposed to what he wanted walking into this season. So you did him a solid and let him go to a team that you knew that he was going to get, what he wanted. But why the hell didn't you do anything to even attempt to fix this offensive line? Okay, that's a problem right there. All right.
Yeah.
8 games in, we knew this offensive line was freaking bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and yet you're still there. Now, it's hard. It's hard because he has went out and gotten a lot of talent for this team, but the offensive line is the foundation of this offense. Where do we go from there?
Yeah, and that's honestly, and I'm not saying that this is what happened. I hope but it's like the players revolted. You know what I mean? This year, because to your point, guys that we have seen produce at a high level, and not just the little flash on the pan. I mean, guys that have produced at a high level consistently in this league. The Quentin Nelsons, the Matt Ryans, the Ryan Kellys, and I mean, it was like the message had been lost or whatever. I don't know, but it really was just very dumbfounding to sit there and see this product that was out on the field. But to your point, you bring Jeff Saturday in. I hope he can sit there and have some insights and stuff. But I'm honestly questioning more of is this a tank season? Is this, where do you go here? I mean, and I get it. Your players are playing for something, but the guys that you think are going to be here that are safe, pull them, sit them. Get some of this younger talent out there and let's see what we really got with them, because let's be honest, even if Jeff Saturday had a magic wand, he's not going to magically make Matt Pryor into a good right guard. He's not going to magically give Bernard Ryman all this knowledge and stuff that you would hope to have at your left tackle spot. So, and Strasser, my one question is how in the world is Strasser coming out of this untouched? How is this man,
we don't know yet.
Well, he's still the last man standing out of the hierarchy, and I get it, right? Especially with the way things were dealt with and handled, or not perceived, the way things were perceived when you got rid of Brady, you couldn't let go of another coach without Reich being let go.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to say something that since we have moved on from the Frank Reich and kind of gotten into the Jeff Saturday situation, you and I have two different viewpoints on this hiring for Jeff Saturday. We discussed a little bit before we came on here. You kind of look at this as maybe like a tanking season, type situation. I don't see it as that. All right. I see Jeff Saturday. Is Jeff Saturday going to be calling plays? Probably not. Not that I don't think he can't, because like I said, this is a guy who sat with Peyton Manning for how many years watching film, watching, setting up protections and leading this team. Yeah, Peyton Manning definitely was the leader at quarterback, but he was the leader on this offensive line and tight ends and blocking scheme. He was the one that set up the blocking protection schemes and stuff and adjustments and stuff on the line, right? This is a guy who knows his job. And let's be fair. Our special teams, even though they gave up a block punt yesterday, for the most part this season, have been very damn good all year. Our defense has been very damn good all year. The thing that's been holding this team back is the offensive line. And with Jeff Saturday at head coach, he obviously can come in. He's been a speaker. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to fire people up. He's done it throughout his tenure, even after he left and retired from the National Football League, right? He's a guy I believe that could come in and get the guys who have not been playing up to their potential, guys like Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Smith, get these guys back to playing the way they were by firing them up. And then possibly he's going to now have the ear of a guy like Chris Ballard, like Jim Irsay. He's going to be able to say, look, I can't do shit with anyone I got at right tackle right now. Go get me something, or look, Matt Pryor is asked, can I just let him go, please? There's things that Jeff Saturday will be able to do walking in as the interim head coach that he normally can't. And I don't want to see the special teams and this defense, who have played their asses off all year, end up in a tanking season. These guys have been playing, gaming, right down to the last snap last night. Our defense played their asses off. All right. I don't want to let them down. I want to be able to go out there and say, look, Jeff Saturday did something here. Who's he hire as the next head coach? Does he fire Strasser? Does he go out and talk to somebody to go get some guys on the offensive line? Who knows? Our eyes and ears are going to be incredibly wide open this week watching for news, because I expect a lot more to happen over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, I want to clarify, my stance isn't that I'm all down on the Jeff Saturday. I love Jeff Saturday, okay? And all the time, like you said, he's had with Peyton Manning. But here's my thing, okay? We've discussed this all year long. These coaches aren't designed to lift up this. I'm sorry. Did you listening to the Quentin Nelson's interview after the game? You could hear he was fired and pissed off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know that they need fired up. The thing with Jeff Saturday, and here's where I'm like, okay, it doesn't move the needle a whole lot. This to me is more of a, let's save the season ticket holders. Let's keep fan interest. Let's, I'm serious. That to me,
it'll work. I'm sure some people are going to be, because there's a lot of people out there that love Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, I'm one of them. But my point is I'm not looking at Jeff Saturday. Just same as I did the Sam Ehlinger situation. Sam wasn't here to right the ship. Sam wasn't here to, honestly, for me, Sam, I wanted to evaluate him. Jeff Saturday, this is a great audition, because let's not remember, he's had 1 year coaching in high school football out of Atlanta. I get it. Atlanta high school football is good and everything, but it's not the NFL. And that's where my thing is like I said, to me, I'm not expecting this cavalcade of just changes and all of a sudden, boom, we're starting to win games and stuff, because, guys, that product that we saw yesterday and over the last couple weeks has been far, far from, at least on the offensive side, of winning football. And the thing is you sit there and you think, name one personnel, or name two personnel from the offensive line that hasn't had snaps on this offensive line. They have been mixing and matching, playing the shell game, moving pieces around. They've really taken a lot of swings. So, like I said, I am very happy that, Jeff Saturday is getting his opportunity. It does excite me to sit there and see that guy with the headset on and just sort of going back to the culture that this organization has really been trying to duplicate with the Cato Junes and the Reggie Waynes and stuff. I'm all on board with that. All I'm saying is whenever I look at Jeff Saturday and I look at his experience, I'm just like, he was a great player, but it doesn't mean he can coach. He was, but he's stayed plugged in with the NFL. He's got that limited experience at Atlanta. But like I said, I'm just not going to sit there and say, you know what, if this team doesn't win 3 games, that Jeff Saturday's garbage. That's not where I'm at. Jeff Saturday's in here, honestly, doing this. Let's keep it all together as best we can, and let's keep this shit afloat until we get into, next year and stuff and off season.
See, I look at Jeff Saturday as the guy who's probably going to be the motivator and delegator, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I see Jeff Saturday as. I see the guy who's going to motivate the guys under him, not just the players, but the coaches as well, because let's face it, you kind of tap into it a little bit. A lot of these guys on the coaching staff, he played with. Mm-hmm. Right? Cato June, Reggie Wayne, he played with these guys. He's got guys on the defense and the offense that he's played with that he has the respect of and respects them as well. So I could see him delegating as well. I don't see him making any kind of defensive play calls, because Gus Bradley has done an absolute fantastic job overall this season doing that. Now, the offensive coordinator, I'm sure that he's got an idea of who he might want as a guy who's going to be playing or calling the play calls. God help me. I hope it's not Strausser, because he's the only guy, him or Milanovic. I don't want either of those guys being the offensive play callers. He needs to go out and hire one. Now, who is that? I don't know. Maybe you go out and you get a guy from San Francisco, like their running backs coach or quarterbacks coach or something like that, or an assistant or something, because they have a style of play right now that is very favorable to what the Colts have in their player, on offense. Yes, exactly. So that could be something that we can look forward to, or maybe even Baltimore. That's another system. But here, look, what I'm getting at is, first off, I hope to God Strausser is gone in the next 48 hours. Okay. I hope Pryor is no longer employed either. Okay. I would like to see what happens with Jeff Saturday when he goes into the delegation mode. I want to know what his first press conference is going to be like. That's going to be exciting, because the questions it's going to be dropping is going to be like out of everywhere. I mean, this news came from left field. No one expected Jeff Saturday to be hired as the head coach, right? There were talks about, maybe Bubba Ventrone or, something like that, or one of the OCs or something no, Bubba Ventrone or Gus Bradley or even John Fox, right? Yeah. That's what was thought was not going out and just grabbing this guy. But to me, this is a better move, because you're leaving Bubba in the spot where he is good at. You're leaving Gus where he is proven at, right? He's been a head coach before and did not succeed as a head coach, but he has been very successful as a defensive coordinator. I like hiring outside and leaving the guys who are doing their jobs well at their position.
The one thing that I'm super hyped about is that fire, that just straight man-to-man honesty, that we've come to expect from Saturday. To sit there and watch that head coaching position now have more of that fire and more of that just, excitement, bring, a spark of excitement to that sideline. And no, I'm not saying I want Jeff Saturday to be a cheerleader, but I mean, just, like you said, get in there, and sit down with Quentin Nelson and be like, this is absolute dog shit, my guy. Don't just sit there and go, look, I know we've been doing bad. That super nice guy, we're done with that. Okay. And to me, that was the biggest thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see more passion from the head coaching spot, more. And I'm not saying that Coach Reich was a passion. I know you said the guys in the locker, but from a fan's perspective, I want to sit there and watch him, honestly, I want to sit there and watch him get in the ass of Matt Pryor and this is unacceptable. You cannot, and because that is something that I felt like if this team had, that was going to be something that would turn this around. And, we heard it during the offseason about Matt Ryan was that leadership and that general and stuff. I'll tell you right now, guys, Matt Ryan gets healthy. Who's to say that he's not back under center? Later on in this game, because, I'm not dumping on Sam Ehlinger, okay? But everybody thought his mobility would sit there and allow him to not be as affected by the poor offensive line play. 9 sacks yesterday, guys. 9. And
a lot of those were on him, not just the offensive line.
Yeah, and the thing was not only that, but there was 9 sacks. I would argue that there was probably another 3 or 4 that were darn near, and like I said, this is not me knocking Sam. This is me saying that I want to have a head coach that's in there and Jeff Saturday's on a free roll now, guys. He's got 8 weeks of his dream job for the organization that he's played not because he went to Green Bay, but the majority of his professional career. I mean, he knows this building. He knows what the organization, he knows Jim Irsay. He really understands what, Jimmy from the Colts is wanting and stuff. And like I said, that goes a long way. And then to mention, I get it that we're missing out on a lot of great play from the defense and stuff, but let's not forget about how well that our receivers have played in this game when given the opportunity and stuff. I mean, there's been certain things, but it has gotten much harder to find the positives. And like I said, at least with this here, Jeff Saturday, hopefully Hopefully he finds a replacement for Strasser or somebody that he can communicate and maybe get things turned around. But I'm to the point now, and I've never been this guy. I swear I have never been the tank and stuff. But now I'm looking at this going, okay, even if you were to win out, and that means a guy that's coached 1 year high school comes in terms of professional organization on its head, and then all of a sudden you win out. So in other words, I don't think that'll happen. All right. Even if that was to happen, you're not even guaranteed to get in the playoffs. I mean, the Titans and stuff with what they've been doing and just the AFC as a whole. I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see Jeff Saturday on his free roll. I'm excited to sit there and see what type of energy that brings and stuff, but I'm not sitting there and expecting this thing to be resurrected from the ashes overnight. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to happen overnight, but here's the thing. Okay. So we all know, and if you don't, then you haven't been paying attention. The move for Ellinger didn't come from Reich. That came from up on high. That came from Jim Irsay. Now him and Reich talked, and they made that move weeks prior to actually happening. Is when But here's the thing. Okay, that move happened. Irsay is calling plays. Wow. Look, that move happened because the offensive line has been ass. If somehow Jeff Saturday can walk in, get the guys that should be playing well, and find a way to plug the two positions that have been playing badly that we haven't had guys to go in there and do a good job on, and find a way of getting that set up. Is he able to say, hey, Irsay, you see we have a running game now. It's back to being decent. They're starting to protect a little bit. Should we go ahead and put Matt Ryan back in? Do you think he does that? Do you think that's a possibility?
I like I said, I mean, if you're sitting there and honestly, I can't shake this. I just need to see what I got from the young guys. Okay. Matt Ryan you just don't need to put him behind a line that's so questionable. And okay, how many games are we saying that it takes Jeff Saturday? That's what I was thinking, Cyborg. He might be more helpful than right guard. But no, I get you. But my point is sorry, I lost my train of thought because that was what I was thinking. How many games does it take Jeff Saturday and this offensive line and hopefully whatever offensive line coach that you put in and stuff? How long does it take him to get it turned around and stuff? Because you don't want to put Matt Ryan behind an offensive line. I mean, he's seen that for too many years of his career. You know what I mean? He's seen that from the Colts, and to me, I just want to be able to put something out there to where you can evaluate your young talent. Like I said, if you're guaranteed you're keeping Defoe, rest Defoe. If you're guaranteed you're keeping Quentin Nelson, rest Quentin Nelson. Give him time to get healthy. Give him time to get 100%. Because honestly, the less the record, the closer we get to finding a long-term solution at that quarterback. And I got to reiterate this. I hate the fact that these words are coming out of my mouth, okay? Because I am not a tank at all. I feel like it's an insult to the game, okay? Okay. It's an insult to the game. But honestly, when you look at where this team is in its season, where you look at how many questions that we have, I mean, guys, we've got to see a lot of young talent really pop off this year. Alec Pierce, Rodney Thomas, let's see, let's keep digging into that trove of young talent and let's see what we've got.
Well, let's talk about this. Okay. Former players that are coaches and the position groups that they coach. All right. The wide receiving room has been very good this year. I have sat every week. I look at the all 22 and see they're getting separation. They're doing a good job getting open. They're performing well. Last night, I don't think was on them. I haven't got to see the game from last night on the all 22 yet. I know there was some drops, especially by the tight ends, but wide receiver room, I'm going to say Reggie Wayne has done a damn good job with that wide receiving room, especially considering that everybody thought we needed a veteran stud wide receiver coming in the offseason. And from what I'm seeing, they're absolutely performing. You go to the defensive backs, Mike Mitchell, sitting back there, and look at how our defensive backs are playing. Oh my goodness, our defensive backs are playing phenomenal. between Rodney Thomas, as you talked about being a rookie, obviously Rodney McLeod, who's a veteran, and Gilmore being a veteran. Our defensive backs are playing stellar football, and our linebacking core, holy crap. I mean, just last night, you just saw, a couple fantastic plays by our linebackers, especially, Bobby O, came in and even made a fantastic, Shaquille Leonard-like move on a ball. So this could be a good thing. We're bringing in former players who understand the game so that they can coach the guys so that they'll play up to the level that they played back when we were excited about being fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get Jeff Saturday. I understand, he's only done high school. We've talked about that. But again, I don't think this is a situation where he's going to be calling plays on either side. He's going to delegate, which means, question, where is the OC going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need to know. I don't think he's going to make the play calls himself. I think he's going to delegate that to an offensive coordinator, but he's got to hire one. And at this point, obviously you don't bring Brady back. You don't go, Frank, you're fired, but you could be our offensive coordinator. Not that I don't think that Frank's an excellent offensive coordinator, because he has been over his tenure as in the NFL with the Eagles and the Chargers, right? But who do we go get? Mm-hmm. Who does Jeff Saturday say, I want this dude being my offensive coordinator for this team?
Yeah. See, that's the thing, you have to dig into the relationships, because it's got to be somebody you trust. Because to your point, Jeff Saturday comes in here, but it's not like he has to take on all of the head coaching duties solely. I mean, he's got John Fox to sit there and lean on and for guidance. He's got, Gus Bradley and stuff. Like I said, Jeff Saturday is getting an opportunity to experience what it is. And I see a lot of people are saying Peyton. I don't know if he'd want to put all those contracts for what was that, Peyton's Place and stuff in jeopardy, because he's like, all right, I got to cancel this year's seat. I got to go be the offensive coordinator for
Dan Orlovsky. Oh my God! Hey, it's another Colts quarterback. Screw it. Bring in the entire. No, I don't want Stephen A.
But like I said, this is not, to me, this is not a good look. I mean, whenever you look at this season, to me, this is much more of let's give these guys a shot. Let's get somebody in here who can motivate and keep this thing together. And I think that Jeff Saturday's outstanding. I mean, like all the things we've been saying, his football IQ is off the charts. Him and all those days of playing with Peyton Manning is going to bode well for him in this situation. But I'm still just not hanging this season. I just honestly, get these guys out there, get them all on the same page, because they did not play like they were on the same page. This offensive line has not been on the same page since week 1. Okay. I mean, they just haven't. Even when you just sit there, even when players aren't engaged or whatever, you look at the alignment, you want to see them connected, and you see one guy up here. There's a lot of stuff here that is going to be needing assessed. And what's the best way? What's the best way to evaluate this team and to find out what you really got and what you're going to go on with next and what you're willing to cut with? Because guys, if we get it, obviously, whether it's Saturday or whoever fills this void, they're going to want to bring in some of their own guys. Does that affect Gus Bradley? Does that mean Gus Bradley's gone? Because is the head coach going to want to be the one who, clean slate, or is a guy going to come in here and say, you know what? I like this guy. I'm going to keep him on board. I like what this defense is. So there's a lot of questions, and this can't just be, thrown together. And that's where I think this interim thing is a good idea. But, how do you evaluate? Who do you put in places long-term? Where are we going next year?
This year with OC, the way Reggie Wayne has ran the wide receivers, do you promote him to OC? Or the running backs coach, Scotty Montgomery, who's done, a pretty good job over his tenure. That's another situation. Look, there isn't a lot of options on the Colts right now to put an OC in from, in the organization. That's a problem. I see a lot of other names in there, Jim Sorgi and Andrew Luck and look, with all the former players that we have on our team, I understand that we like to, mind blow ourselves, but that ain't going to work. It ain't going to happen. Look, I don't think Andrew Luck's going to be a coach. I think he's incredibly happy being a family man right now. As much as I would like to see him back with the Colts in some, form or another, I don't see it happening. I agree right here, Shrayless. Let Reggie Wayne get his feet wet. Let him sit at the wide receivers coach for a couple, at least this year. I mean, my goodness, that way he can get a full feel at where he's at.
Not only Reggie Wayne, here again, what we were talking about, one of the bright sides of this offense has been in that young wide receiver room. Do you really want to upend that chemistry and stuff and that growth that you're putting in place? Because even though Sam can't get the ball to the receivers, and because of the offensive line stuff, these guys are running good routes. These guys are getting separation. These guys are learning to play the game the right way. And I just don't want to stop that. I really don't. And not to mention, you've seen how, I don't want to say against it, but how Reggie didn't even want to really be a coach. Didn't want to really be a coach. Now he's a wide receivers coach. Now he's a head coach. I just not sure even Reggie. And that's the thing. Who's
or OC, yeah.
And who's going to want to take this job this year? Who's going to want to come in? And that's where I'm looking at, who is out there that just wants to get their foot in the door? And that's where I feel like Saturday. He's like, I'm getting my foot in the door. I'm getting my name out there. I'm going to be professional as hell, and I'm going to, help get better play. Okay. It may not be winning football even, but better play out of this team because guys, if you're on the tank for whatever quarterback or whatever, you can still play better football and still lose this game. This product that we've put out on the field the last couple of weeks has just been god awful. And the thing is who wants that opportunity? Listen, guys, we got 311 of you in here. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please smash that like, hit that subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and make sure you ring that notification bell.
Absolutely. All right. So I need to bring this up because I missed it a minute ago. Someone just dropped, 8 minutes ago. Let me get this in here. Don Frozzel dropped $10 in the tip jar where the donation link right here at the top of the description. He says, Bubba been thrown for OC. I like Bubba where he's at special teams coordinator personally. Keep the special teams playing well because of how important special teams really is. Will Irsay keep Ellinger? That's a question. Again, that's a situation. If the Colts, if Jeff Saturday can fix this offensive line, does Matt Ryan get put back in the driver's seat? And can JT get back to being his best? Do we need offensive line help? Bunch of questions here from Don Frozzel. I'm going to let you hit the last two since I hit the first two.
All right. Yes. We need offensive line help. We need, more help than we can get in this particular instance. And what was it? Does JT get back to his olds? Honestly, JT, guys, he's dodging bullets. The difference is he's dodging bullets 1.5 yards, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage versus, 4 and 5 yards. So if the offensive line plays better, JT is going to get better. Okay. JT, I get it. He's got the dinged up ankle and stuff, but you can still see that this young man just has to have that confidence in what he sees in front of him. And that's been the problem. There's no confidence in what he's seen from this offensive line. To me, like I said, fix this offensive line in whatever way you can. Get this offensive line playing better, whether it's eliminating Strasser, whether it's bumping up Kevin Moore. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe Jeff Saturday. Right. Maybe Jeff has ties to some college offensive line coaches or something that he's really high on and stuff. But how much more of this stuff do we do? How much of this stuff do we sit there and throw to the wall and see what sticks? And then how much of this is we sit there and we just want to keep people appeased and like I said, and get that higher draft pick and continue to build from there. Because guys, I don't think we've seen all of the activity that this team's going to have. And during the offseason, there's probably going to be more. You know what I mean? Does Ballard get replaced? There's so many questions right now. And it's not, this is not the time of year that you want to have these questions, but here we are.
Absolutely. Well, first off, as Bring the Juice said earlier, please smash that like button. There's about 300 of you in here. Let's see if we can't get to 100 likes. James, what's going on? Appreciate the $5 dub in the super chat. Says this is the worst day to be a Colts fan. Everyone's laughing at us right now. I want to throw up. No. See, I actually don't feel like this is the worst. Yesterday was the worst day to be a Colts fan. Today, there's a little bit of optimism because of the moves that were made today. More so than what I had yesterday. Yesterday, after the game, I shut off all the internet. I sat down. I didn't watch another football game until Sunday night football. I watched TV. I turned off Twitter. I didn't want nothing to do with anything because I was that pissed off over the offense that I watched yesterday. So really, I feel like today is a good day.
Yeah, because yesterday it was really hard to find anything positive. You know, we try to keep on the positive side of things, and it was very, very difficult. You know, it just sounded like a defense show. Oh, the defense did this, the defense did that. Oh, offense is on the field.
Right?
Crickets.
Oh my goodness. Yesterday was so I dropped the F-bomb, okay, in a stream yesterday watching this game. And I don't do that. I don't hardly ever cuss at all, but especially dropping an F-bomb. And I did it, you know, so that says a lot about how I felt about yesterday's game. Today I feel way, way better. Look, here's a quick question. You know, we got a presser today. What do you want to hear from the presser later today from Chris Ballard?
Honestly, we've replaced Strasser with insert name because to me, offensive line. I mean, Chris Ballard. We went and got Joe Schmo from the grocery store. We're going full Kurt Warner here to play right guard. You know, we're gonna get this guy off the street and just plug him in at right guard. There's just not a whole lot that I can give from the presser. To be honest.
Do you think Jeff Saturday, being, you know, he's an all-pro center, probably has some contacts in the offensive line community and able to go out and get somebody who could really possibly turn this offensive line around?
Yeah, like I said, that's the plan. You know, find somebody, you know, through his college days and stuff that, you know, or maybe I mean, let's remember, guys, he spent a ton of time behind the Great Lake, you know, Mud. You know what I mean? So maybe there's somebody through the Mud lineage. I know that's where Strasser came from, but I'm just maybe somebody else. You know what I mean? Because quite honestly, until we know who the head coach is, until we know, are they going to stay with the zone blocking scheme? You know, I mean, there's a lot of questions that you need to try to find answers to. And the thing is Ballard the guy making those decisions now? Or are we just in limbo now for the rest of the season? And then, you know, to later on find out who and where and when. So it's a lot of questions.
Wyatt, I understand that. We've kind of bounced that idea around a little bit with Kevin Mawai, but really he's only got 1 year experience, 1.5 year now experience as a offensive line coach.
But let's be honest, that's more than our head coach.
But you know what? If Saturday feels that Mawai could step into that position, then I would trust Saturday's opinion on that, because I mean, let's face it, there's no one better to make those kind of decisions when it comes to an offensive line and how he feels a guy would be able to coach. So if he feels Kevin Mawai could step into being the offensive line coach, not just the assistant, you know, I'd be all for it, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's get it. Whatever happens, let's make that offensive line room a no BS room. Okay. Let's make it, facts don't care about your feelings or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? Let's make it, you know, hard, brutal truths. And because guys, I mean, you look at these guys, if you know, Quentin Nelson, if you can't just sit there and be blunt and hard truth with them, or Ryan Kelly or Braden Smith, then okay, fine. You know, you're going to be looking for a job next year. Like I said, I honestly feel like with this move, all things are on the table. Absolutely everything. You know what I mean? It really is. Everything aside from trading, because we waited till after the deadline to do this.
Absolutely. Now we're 40 minutes in. I have not dropped any of our ads. So I'm going to drop a couple ads real quick. Give us a quick break. Please check some of this stuff out. Don't forget, we have a Patreon and a Discord links. Well, the the Discord link is not in the description, but the the Patreon is. And tomorrow, oh my, Rodney McLeod and Gerard Powers and I will be talking a lot about the new coaching moves and stuff. So you're not going to want to miss Patreon, because you'll be able to get all the behind the scenes footage, plus be able to see Wednesdays and Thursdays ahead of time. It'll drop tomorrow on the Patreon only version. So make sure you go check that out. Links are in the description. Hey, we'll be right back in about 90 seconds. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Come check out the Colts Law merch shop. New items added every week. All sorts of items, from clothing to cups to cozies to backpacks, hats, just miscellaneous items that you can get around the house, even phone covers. Just check it out. Let me know. Send me a message. Hey, is there something that I'm missing? Go feel free to ask. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts sign pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. 81 Deuce in here says Jeff Saturday could become the O-line coach. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Jeff Saturday is going to actually have a lot to say with the offensive line being here as the head coach, but he's still going to have to delegate, right? That's what I feel like that he's going to do his best is, like I said at the beginning of this, is firing up the team, get guys playing at their best, but he's still got to delegate so that he doesn't spend too much time on one specific group. Okay. That's not what a head coach does. You didn't see, you don't see guys, head coaches run around and spend, half or more of their time on a specific group where they came from. Right. You don't see, Bill Belichick over there with the special teams, 75% of the time, he actually, that's where he came from. He was a special teams coordinator, but now you see that he does a lot of defensive stuff now. So I see Jeff Saturday being that guy, but he's definitely got to get himself an OC, and he's got to, in my opinion, and along with a lot of people, he's got to replace Strasser. He's got to. Oh my goodness. But here's the deal. I got a question for you. Is Jim Irsay paying too much attention to social media?
Yes. Yes, and yes again. Okay. And the reason I say that is because of moves that were made earlier. Okay. And I get it. You know what? He knows that's who pays the bills. That's who keeps the lights on. If he don't get seats in the in the stadium, it's a hard day for him. Okay. Jim Irsay, the best thing that I love about Jim Irsay is his passion for this team. His spirited, his fandomhood. One of the worst things I hate about Jim Irsay right now is his passion, his spirited fandomhood. Because it's a double-edged sword, and I get it. I mean, I'm on, social media more than I desire, but I mean, it's rough out there. It is rough to sit there. Every post you put out, that you're going to get, 25-30% of just people dumping on things. And so, like I said, this was a type of move that you make because of all the pushback, because of all the negative energy and stuff. And I get it. Something had to change. Okay. I get it. I'm on board with that. But to sit there and say that, do I want my owner, moving and making these people is he creating more of a problem, or is he making more of a solution? Whenever when you're already in 5 weeks in and you're back channeling some stuff to get your $35 million quarterback benched. It's like, okay, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And if he didn't trust the guys then, then maybe that's where he needs to put most of his energy, is who's going to be the head coach, who's going to be the GM, because he clearly is not on board with what's been happening over the last year and 3 weeks.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, okay? Before last year, Jim Irsay was not known as an owner who stuck his hands, in the system, and he delegated. That's what he did. He was good at it. I mean, yes, he understands football as well as any NFL owner out there. I mean, he started off, ball boy all the way up to being an owner. I mean, this guy knows football like no other, but at the same time, you delegate that stuff, and he's always delegated that stuff, and he needs to continue to do stuff like that. But here's the deal. All right, hold on real quick. I gotta bring this back up real quick. Here we are.
Well, don't sound discouraged. This is good.
Yeah. Don Frosel 1313. Don, appreciate the other another $5 donation in the donation jar, which he uses at the top of the description of the video. Says Martin Hazel. Do you think, it's Martin Hazel. Okay. Do you think if Ballard is staying, that Irsay, Ballard, and Saturday will stay up all night looking through resumes? Who's going to make the play calls next game? We shouldn't have let Sirianni go, huh? Well, look, there was no chance in the Sirianni thing. He was hired as a head coach. We have no choice in that. All right. I am very happy for Nick Sirianni. I'm very happy for our former defensive coordinator. Both of them became head coaches, and quite frankly, yes, Sirianni's doing better than our former DC, but the DC, I think, is doing pretty good over there in Chicago as well. But we have no choice. When they're hired, you can't do nothing about that. But will they stay up all night looking through resumes for the offensive coordinator? I hope so. If not, then maybe, there's more to this tanking thing than, a lot of people want to give credit to. I don't think so, because players and coaches don't tank, period. They're playing for their wallet. They're playing for their contracts, so the only people that tank in the NFL are owners. Go look at Miami, is why they were under investigation, right? With that whole situation. They wanted, the owner over there apparently wanted Flores to tank, and he said, no, I need my job. If I tank, then that's going to get out, and you may fire me. You'll have a good reason to fire me, and then I won't get another job somewhere else because, well, look how badly my team did, so you can't look at it that way. All right.
No. And Trey says it real perfectly here. Says you've got to let coordinators move on, because the thing is if you sit there and you get it, you interfere with them advancing, then all of a sudden who's going to want to be a coordinator for the Colts if they know that that's the ceiling for them. So yeah, whenever these guys grow past their positions and stuff, you have to respect it, and you have to honestly help cultivate that, because that's going to help you in the long run with whenever come dealing with other people. And the thing is I'm wondering, how many, do they already have this? And, do they already have an OC that, that they're already thinking about? Do they already have something, or is Saturday on board with Strasser? There's so many question marks. And the thing is all I care about is I just want better football. I want to be able to look at this thing and just sit there and know, you know what? This ain't perfect football, but this is much better than what we've had. The whole 1% better. Well, I feel like we need to get about 334% better just to get back to a zero starting point that we were last year.
All right. Tom comes in here and says, why is Ballard still the GM of this team? A lot of our issues are on his plate. Now, there's a couple issues that I can say is on his plate. The offensive line obviously is a little bit on his plate, because now I can't say when the team started, because during training camp and preseason, you don't know if the offensive line is as bad as it is, or your defensive line is as good as it is. And that's why your offensive line looked poor. You had to play against another team during a live game to figure that out. But he's had 8 weeks. He had 8 weeks to make the move. He knew that the right guard and the left tackle was not good. He never made a move. So I get that. But those right there, those 2 moves are the only things that I could put on him. I think he's done a fantastic job getting wide receivers. I think the tight ends look good. I think the defense as a whole looks great. I think he's done a good job all the way around, except for that offensive line, those 2 moves. A lot of people are going to say, well, the quarterback's been at, but what moves could he have done, right? He didn't have any kind of ammo to move up in drafts to go get somebody. He had to get what he could grab in free agency, right? And let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. When we went and got the former Chargers quarterback, 90% of Colts fans was happy about that. When we went and got Matt Ryan, 90% or more of Colts fans was excited about that because we thought, these guys are going to be behind our offensive lines. We got a running game. This is going to be great. It didn't turn out that way, but, so I can't really put the full blame of the quarterback on Chris Ballard, but he better have something figured out this upcoming offseason when it comes to the quarterback position. Shrayless, what's up? Drops $10 in the YouTube super chat, says to the people calling for Ballard's head, just stop. Ballard has brought in talent. It's there. But it's up to the coaches to get them ready and the players to perform. And overall, Ballard's brought in more talent to this team than any other, as far as I can tell, GM out there. I say Ballard is a top 10 GM in the NFL. I think he's a top 5 without any question. Is he the best? I don't know, but I think he's a top 5. He's going to have a lot on his plate this offseason, though, without any question.
But I agree with that 100%. The talent evaluating is just top level. But then you look at what has it become? Now, the question is that on the head coaches? Guys, we had 7 Pro Bowlers last year. There's no way you can tell me that team shouldn't have made the playoffs. So is that more on the coaching? Is that more on Ballard? The one thing I would say is Ballard's biggest flaw is sometimes people get the competition isn't where it needs to be. Okay. We needed more competition. Even if you're going to go with Matt Pryor, we needed more competition at the left tackle spot. Okay. The right guard spot. Even if you're going to go with Danny Pinter, even if you like what you saw from Danny Pinter, why not have somebody on the roster to compete against him? Why is it we're just automatically saying, he's our guy. He doesn't have to do anything to earn it.
What up, Ninkoski? Goki Colts fan drops $5 in the donation jar. Appreciate you, my guy. Says, hallelujah. He's been calling for Frank Reich's head for all year. Even in the offseason, he's been calling for Frank Reich's head. The mission, the mission has begun. We are legit able to make the playoffs this season. What? Saturday will change the culture, and they will hire him full time. Look, if Jeff Saturday could get this team, in all honesty, and this is my opinion, if Jeff Saturday can make this team finish at 500, he keeps his job. I honestly 100% believe that because we are 2 games behind on 500. If we can win 2 more games, then we lose the rest of the season. With the offensive line and the way the offense looked yesterday, this man should not just be the head coach. You should go ahead and give him keys to the damn city. All right.
All right. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Jeff Saturday is already doing something special because I have had many, many of discussions with Goki. That was the most. Can you clip that for me and DM that to me? That was the most happy, upbeat message that Goki's had about this team in a year and a half. Okay. But shout out to Goki. He's been consistent. Whether I agree with him or not, he has been 100% consistent. And I love to sit. He's already turned Goki. So you know what? There is hope. Maybe Jeff Saturday does have a magic wand to make things better.
Yeah, it's a good possibility. Guys, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And there's going to be a lot of videos uploaded soon. Plenty of content, as Bring the Juice said earlier, lots of Colts content. Obviously I've got the Believe in Colts podcast that we're going to be dropping tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I don't know what Rodney McLeod is going to feel. He played a hell of a game yesterday. I think he came in and did some really good stuff, but we're going to get him and Gerard Powers thoughts on the coaching changes. And we're also going to get a lot of other stuff coming in as well. All 22s, stuff of that nature. Guys, this has been a great stream, and I appreciate all of you. All right, 325 of you guys in here. This has been phenomenal. Let me know, does the move of Jeff Saturday bring hope to you? Drop it in the chat. Do you feel a renewed vigor for the Indianapolis Colts after yesterday's game and then hearing the news that Frank Reich was fired and Jeff Saturday was immediate? Like Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard already knew, we're getting Jeff Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. Before they even fired. There's no way they didn't know beforehand, right? They knew. They probably been talking to Jeff for a while, right? So yeah. Is this the renewed vigor? Hold on one moment, because my man Ninkowski drops right back in here again using that donation. The link, he says, this is the greatest day in the last 3 years for me. We can make a wild card spot, in his opinion. Make the Colts great again.
But that's important. If you guys, whenever you're sitting there talking about how do you feel about the Jeff Saturday move, do me a favor. Also, in the comment, let us know, what are your expectations? What is it that you think that we can see for the final half of this season with Jeff Saturday at the head coaching spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of no's, a lot of yeses. A lot of no's, a lot of yeses for that question. And it's cool. I understand that. Hey, Joe Roche, they did spend quite a bit this last offseason on free agents. I mean, they traded for Matt Ryan. That was a ton of money, and a lot of people thought that was a good thing. They traded for Yannick Ngakoue, which was a lot of money. They traded. They hired a certain cornerback, right? They hired a certain cornerback on defense. They spent a ton of money this offseason, plus extended a lot of people that was already on the team, like Darius Leonard and Quentin Note. They paid money to guys who have performed very well throughout their time with the Colts. I think that they've spent a ton of money. They've spent a ton of money putting this team together. They're just literally 3 positions shy of having a team that can compete for anybody for a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Right? That's my now. If we had a left tackle, we already spend more than any other team in the NFL on our offensive line, and we're still shy a left tackle and a right guard. Okay, that's scary. Yeah, that's scary, and that makes me realize why Ballard wanted to go a little on the cheap end on that side. You know what I mean? A little bit, but at the same time, with the weakest link of the offensive line, that's as strong as your offensive line can be. So you got to go out there and you got to plug in at least average people at those 2 weak spots. That's my thought on that. And then if you have that, who knows how the quarterback position in the running game is going to look, So fix those, and then yay. That's my thought process.
Right on. And like I say, guys, this move doesn't answer any questions. I'm sorry. This move more, if anything, just creates more questions. But what it does do for me is it sits there and brings a new voice, brings that energy, brings that just that fire that you want to see, or at least I've been wanting to see from the head coaching. And I get it. I don't want to have him be a total spaz or anything like that. But I don't think that's Jeff Saturday's way. Jeff Saturday is one of those guys who will sit there and analyze this thing, but he's also going to just sit there and put a good old dose of I don't give a bleep, to making these decisions.
Absolutely. Guys, we have 86 likes right now, 320 some of you in the chat. Can we get 100? Can we get 14 more of you to just hit the like button? I'd appreciate it. If you have already, don't do it again because you'll undo it. But if you haven't yet, Please smash that like button. It helps with the analytics, get more people in here. Thank you so much. Mikey, what's up? Mikey says Jeff Saturday is going to make the line great again. Please I'm going to put please right there. Release Pryor immediately and call Big Q soft until he proves he's worth that $20 million. I'm not going to disagree with any damn thing that was said by Mikey Mendez right there. All right. Walk up. If anyone could walk up to Big Q, it's Jeff Saturday, and say, dude, you are soft as hell this year. What is wrong with your big ass? All right. And get away with it. You know, that's the only guy I think that can do that. How about you?
Well, but the thing is, you do that, and I know this is all in jest, but you do that, and all of a sudden, that $20 million just got worse because you know that's not a motivating statement for anyone else. He might be more than happy to show you what he thinks of his assessment of things, in which case now we're looking at the league finding Quentin Nelson and Jeff Saturday because they just got in a big old scrap week 1.
We broke 100. We're at 104. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. 106. There we are. Hey, that's nice to see. All right. Jeff will find the lineman. Gardaki's playground. He will find one. I don't care where he finds it. In all honesty, for the right guard, I don't care. Now, when Will Fries came in yesterday for Matt Pryor, that looked a little bit better, but still the offensive line was bad. Okay. It was still not good. All right. So we still need, and if we're down to our fourth option at right guard, because that's literally Fries is our fourth option this year, down to our fourth option at right guard, that means that the top 3 are not good. And we need more personnel for that position. Okay. Left tackle. Ryman is a rookie, still learning. Obviously, Dennis Kelly was not good. We called for it. We asked for it. We was wondering why Dennis Kelly was not starting when Matt Pryor was over there. Hey, guess what? We found out he wasn't good either. Okay. So we need to find another depth piece at left tackle as well. So we still need a right guard and a left tackle. And hopefully Jeff Saturday can do that.
Yeah. And the thing is this is, I know Coach Reich got fired, but this is not on Coach Reich 100%. But I do understand that this had to happen. We had to move on from this. You cannot continue to put this product on the field and expect people. I mean, guys, we do our absolute best to be.
Driggs is wanting the Colts to freaking tank this year. That's why he won.
You know, I want to be center because I suck at pulling. So I do not want to be a guard or a tackle. Not anymore. But, yeah, the thing was like I said, this I hope Coach Wright goes out there and finds his next chapter and just balls out. You know, I mean, I love the man as a human, okay? You know, coaching is what it is, you know. I'm honestly, there had to be something done. You could not sit there and do what happened yesterday and just, you know, and I feel like Reich put things in motion that it was like the next guy was going to have to be him.
Trayla says, oh, no, don't go backwards. Y'all was calling for Ryman to start all season. Don't back down now. No, he's still the best left tackle we have on the team. That doesn't mean that we need to go. We shouldn't go out and get more. Right. That's all honesty. You, Loyalist said it perfectly earlier. We had no legitimate competition at left tackle because, you know, the competition level was here. We needed that to be up here for left tackle. And with Ryman being a rookie and Pryor being who he was and Dennis Kelly being who he was, we need higher competition there. Yeah. And that's the thing. Ryman is our best option from what we've seen so far this year. We're not backing down from that. We just need more competition there.
Because to your point, you think about it, guys. You had Dennis Kelly, who was injured. You knew you weren't going to see him until week 3, week 4. Not getting any reps. You had a rookie who had played 18 games, you know, I mean, never played a snap in the NFL, but played 18 games at college at that position. And then you had Matt Pryor. Okay. Matt Pryor was gift wrapped at this opportunity. I remember we were trying to convince ourselves, oh, this could work. And, you know, and I know everybody's seen a little bit on the right side, a little bit from him last year and was super on board. But the thing is, you know what? You need to just sit there and put 3, you know, 2, at least 2 viable starters and make them compete it out, and let's see who can win. And do the same at that right guard spot. Do the same at right tackle. I'm sorry, but Braden Smith, my guy, you know what? In my opinion, Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, put competition, really push these guys. If they don't like it, if they get in their feelings about it or what, then they're not right for this team. Because you know what? Offensive line is simply about being the best 5 players on that field. And we have yet this entire season, we have not seen our offensive line be the best 5 in the trenches at all. And that's just for the highest paid offensive line in the NFL. That's just insane.
All right, Shrayla says, believe it or not, Pryor played well last year. He earned a shot. He absolutely earned a shot. But once he starts playing like ass and cannot get out of the trenches of being, like at the bottom of the trenches, his face in the mud, that was on Ballard to not make a move. That's my thought.
And to me, he earned a shot to compete for that position.
Yes.
He did not earn a shot to be the starter. He earned a shot to compete for and say, okay, can you make yourself one of the best guys at that position? And that's what I'm saying. Let's quit gift wrapping some of these positions like it, like here, you haven't done enough to earn it. This contract that Pryor got this year, it's insane. And honestly, I felt like some of the coaching moves were because of how much Pryor was making. So now you sit there and you say, okay, you made a bad decision when you gave him that contract, and now you're going to double down on that bad decision by trying him at left tackle. Oh, that didn't work. Let's move him at right tackle. Oh, that didn't work. Let's move him to right guard. Oh, no, quit. Have better competition. And I know, like I said, I get it. You're going to have a weak spot if you want to keep your offensive line manageable and the money thing, but you got to compete.
Bring the Juice says, here's my thing. Why not just play the young guys, see what we have at this point? What are you talking about, young guys? Obviously, your starters that are proven should be out there, like wide receiver wise. Your top 3 guys need to play because they are the guys. You got to be able to see Michael Pittman Jr. You're not taking him off the field, right? And then the young guy, we're already playing him and Pierce. And Paris Campbell needs to prove that he can stay healthy the whole damn season. So he needs to play. He's playing at a high level, so he needs to prove it as well. When it comes to the offensive line, at this point, you want to put your best guys out there no matter what. That is definitely the position you got to put out there, because if you don't have the best guys on the offensive line playing, all you're doing is taking a shot at hurting whoever is back there, whether it's the quarterback or even the running backs. The running backs can get hurt because the offensive line is poor, right? Mm-hmm. Because the offensive line ain't blocking right. A running back taking a handoff at the exact same time that he's getting hit by a defensive tackle or something, that could ruin his career. Okay.
Now, the one name that I would put in here that I think that could fit in this conversation is like Penter. Maybe giving Penner an opportunity at center over Kelly.
That's possible.
You know what I mean? But honestly, then you look at the right guard. We've already got the young guy. The wide receivers are the young guys. The left tackle is the young guy. So that's the thing. And the whole Cross situation. I mean, okay, I get it, but honestly, guys, it's not the secondary play. It's not. Those guys are balling out. Those guys are keeping us in games. Why do you sit there and say, okay, we sold you short for the first half of the season by not giving you an offense to support you. Now we're going to sit there and take your job away from you and give this other guy a chance, even though you've been doing a good job. It's a balance of you got to sit there and make decisions, but you've also got to keep the locker room, the things that are working. You want to keep that going, because otherwise it's just going. This is going to turn into a total train wreck.
Well, what you're talking about, you're not talking about starting Penner at right guard, because Penner at right guard was absolute garbage.
No, okay? I said Penner.
Yeah, I know. At center. Center. I understand. But also, I wouldn't do that unless Ryan Kelly is on the move for a trade. If you're absolutely, but we can't trade anybody right now because we're past the trade deadline. So that's an issue, right? At that spot, you're not going to say, well, we're going to sit you down and just waste $16 million. That's
why not? You've already got a head coach that's not playing. You've got a guy that you need to know, because isn't he in Penter? I'm talking about. Isn't Penner in his final year of the contract? You've got to figure out what you've got with him. Is he a starting center? In other words, and this sucks for the Ryan Kelly situation. But if you put him in, now that you answer that question, is Ryan Kelly a movable piece, or is Danny Penter against the number ones? Is he not good enough? And then all of a sudden, now you have to have Ryan Kelly. And like I said, let's be honest, this offensive line has not showed up to a game all year long. I mean, they've had little flashes and stuff, but for being the highest paid, I'm on board with plugging Penner in just to see what you got.
Well, we can see what we got, but you know what? Like I say, when it comes to the offensive line, the new head coach we have, I'm going to trust in what he has to say about that and where he's going to go, because obviously he's going to have his hands inside that mold, and whatever comes out of it, I believe that he will find the best solution for the players that he has currently. Now, will that have to do also with maybe him? As we said earlier, maybe he looks at Ballard and says, "Dude, you got to give me more to work with here." That's a good possibility, but we're going to find out, especially this upcoming game against the Raiders, I believe, is who we play next. So this is going to be an interesting situation because it's scary, guys. It's been a minute 10. I think we're going to be done here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, if you haven't hit the like, smash it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and make sure you check us both out on our social medias and everything else. Any final words?
No, guys, like I said, I don't think this is the final chapter. I think this week's going to be, more news to be continued, or however you want to call this thing. But let's just keep our eyes, on all the news coming out of the Colts world, and we'll try to get to it as quickly and as honestly as we can.
Absolutely. And yes, Trayless, you are absolutely right. He makes young quarterbacks look bad. I get that. But our offensive line didn't help. He didn't help himself.
Right.
So we will look at the film room as soon as it drops. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
Jeff, my man, Jeff Saturday, you have the reins. You are the offensive line guru. You are the man that has the respect of the entire Colts Nation. Let's see you do something in a short period of time with this offensive line. Maybe we can get our offense back on track. Once that gets on track, the defense and special teams are already playing well. I'd like to see us save the season. Playoffs ain't out of the question, but you'd have to win out to do it. Come on now, guy. Let's see what you got.